The sky over Earth changed one morning. It was not clouds, not storms, but something far bigger. Giant shadows moved across the sky. People looked up and froze. These were not planes or anything humans had seen before. They were alien ships, huge, silent, and there were many. They came without warning. No signal, no message, just appeared over cities, oceans, and deserts. Each ship was the size of a mountain, black, with glowing red lines on the sides. They did not fire. They did not speak. They just watched. At first, people were scared. The military got ready. Jets flew into the sky. Missiles were aimed, but nothing happened. The alien ships didn't move. They didn't attack. They just hovered. Then a sound filled the air. Not a voice. Not a message. It was laughter. Cold, loud, echoing laughter. It didn't sound human. It was deep and strange. The aliens were laughing. Across the world, screens turned on. TVs, phones, and even car radios all showed one thing. A face. It was not a human face. It had gray skin, black eyes, no nose, and sharp teeth. The alien smiled and spoke in perfect English. "So, this is Earth. This is your mighty planet," the alien said, grinning. "How cute." The world went quiet. "We have watched you for years," the alien continued. "You fight over land. You poison your water. You build tiny weapons. And now, you prepare them against us." The alien burst into laughter again. In a control room in Washington, General Hawk stared at the screen. His face was hard, but his hands were tight fists. He turned to his team. "Do not respond," he said. "Let's see what they want." But the alien already knew. "Don't worry," it said, reading their silence. "We don't want your planet. We don't need it. We came to play." "Play," someone whispered. The alien leaned closer to the screen. "You see, humans," it said, "we travel the galaxy looking for new species. We test them. We laugh. We break their toys. Then we leave. Some cry. Some try to fight. It's always fun." In the skies, the alien ships started to move. Slowly. Just enough to show power. One ship flew over New York, casting a shadow across the whole city. Another passed over Tokyo. Another over Cairo. Each one sent the same message. "You are not warriors. You are ants. And today, we step on ants." The laughter came again. But now, it was louder. Crueler. Around the world, news channels tried to calm people. Scientists tried to make contact. World leaders sent messages for peace, but the aliens only laughed more. In a secret bunker under London, a young scientist named Layla watched quietly. Her eyes didn't show fear. They showed anger. "These aren't gods," she said. "They're bullies." Next to her, her friend Darius nodded. "But we're not ants." On the screens, the alien continued. "You have one day. Show us your strength. Show us your best weapons. Make us laugh harder. Then we will begin the fun." The screen went black. Panic spread. People ran from cities. Armies prepared for war. But deep under the surface, in hidden places around the world, old programs began to wake up. Projects long forgotten. Weapons never tested. Secrets never shared. Somewhere in the Arctic, a machine powered on. In the deserts of Australia, a signal was sent. Across the oceans, quiet codes were exchanged between silent bases. Back in the sky, the alien ships floated like dark giants, waiting, watching, laughing. On Earth, a storm was building, not in the clouds, but in the hearts of humans. A storm made of fear, anger, and something else, wrath. And the aliens had no idea what they had just awakened. The day the aliens gave their warning, Earth did not sleep. Leaders across the world held emergency meetings. Scientists worked nonstop, searching for weak points in the alien ships. Generals moved tanks and jets into position. People filled the streets with fear and confusion. But above all, there was silence. A silence filled with pressure, like the air just before a storm. And then it happened. The first alien strike came early, just before sunrise. Without sound, a beam of red light shot down from one of the ships over South America. In an instant, a military base vanished, not destroyed, erased. There was nothing left. No smoke, no fire, no bodies. Just a black hole in the earth where life once stood. All screens turned on again. The alien's face appeared. It wasn't smiling now. It looked bored. "You call this your defense?" It said. "We gave you a chance. You gave us nothing. Now, we begin." In seconds, 10 more ships attacked. Lasers, plasma, strange blue orbs of light fell from the sky. Cities across the globe went dark. Power grids failed. Satellites were fried. Missiles launched by human armies were stopped mid-air by invisible shields. Human weapons did nothing. Human defense was falling apart. In New Delhi, people ran from collapsing buildings. In Berlin, the skies glowed red. In Los Angeles, jets tried to fight back, but they fell like toys swatted from the air. It wasn't a battle. It was a display. The aliens were not fighting to win. They were showing off. From deep bunkers, leaders tried to send out distress signals, but nothing got through. Communication lines were broken. Radios were dead. Satellites were blind. The Earth had become silent. In one of the few bunkers still working, General Hawk stood in front of a large screen. His uniform was torn, his face covered in sweat and ash. "They're not trying to take the planet," he said quietly. "They just want to humiliate us." A young officer beside him looked scared. "Sir, what do we do?" General Hawk didn't answer. Not right away. He walked to a locked panel and placed his hand on a scanner. The wall opened slowly, revealing an old black box with red markings. Words glowed on the top. "Project Do not open unless Earth is failing." He stared at it for a moment, then picked it up. "Call Layla and the rest," he said. "It's time." Far away in the Arctic, a secret base deep under the ice woke up. Long tunnels filled with old technology buzzed with life. Red lights blinked. Machines turned on for the first time in decades. At the center, Layla stood in front of a glass chamber. Inside it, a strange machine floated, part human, part alien. It was built from tech found in a crashed ship 40 years ago. Humans had studied it, copied it, upgraded it, but they had never used it. Until now. Darius stepped beside her, eyes wide. "Are we sure this will work?" Layla didn't look away from the chamber. "No," she said, "but if we do nothing, Earth will fall." Back in orbit, the alien leader watched Earth's pain with amusement. "They break so easily," he said to his second in command. "No challenge, no power, only noise and fear." The second alien laughed. "Shall we end it, Commander?" "Not yet," the leader replied. "Let them suffer a little more. Let them know they are insects under our boots." But deep under the ground, Earth was not finished. Signals began to move in secret channels, old, hidden systems that even the aliens couldn't find. Code written in dead languages passed between bases. Orders were sent not by voice, but by machine. Quiet, sharp, deadly. And far above, in the dark corners of the sky, something new began to move. Tiny, fast objects that didn't glow, didn't make noise, and didn't look like weapons. But they were. They were the first whispers of Earth's hidden wrath. Back on the surface, people huddled in fear. Cities were broken. Lights were gone. The world seemed lost. But in that silence, something grew. Not just anger, not just pain, but unity. For the first time in history, humans everywhere were not divided. There were no borders, no flags, only survival, only one enemy, only one goal: to fight back. The aliens thought they had won. They thought Earth was quiet because it was broken. They didn't know that silence was the warning before the storm. And this time, the storm was human. Deep beneath the ruins of what used to be the proudest cities on Earth, life stirred in the shadows. While alien ships floated above the planet like gods watching over ants, something ancient, secret, and powerful was awakening. In the Arctic base known only to a few as Facility Zero, lights flashed along forgotten hallways. Dust that had settled over control panels for decades lifted as machines buzzed to life. Massive steel doors groaned open, revealing rows of dark capsules. Inside each one, soldiers slept, faces calm, bodies wired with cybernetic systems built for one thing: wrath. Layla stood at the command center, eyes locked on the main screen. Her fingers flew across the controls. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Every move she made had been prepared for years. This was not guesswork. This was a plan. Darius watched her, still stunned. "So it's real," he whispered. Project Wrath wasn't just an idea. Layla didn't stop typing. "It was never an idea," she replied. "It was a promise." In the shadows behind them, the first capsule opened with a hiss. A tall man stepped out, his body scarred, his arms covered in nano-armor. His eyes glowed faintly blue. He said nothing. He simply looked at Layla, then nodded. More capsules opened. More soldiers emerged, each one trained for war, trained for silence, trained to be Earth's final answer. These were not just fighters. They were living weapons. Each had been enhanced with alien tech salvaged from old crash sites, mixed with human engineering. Stronger, faster, smarter. As the soldiers prepared, Layla opened a secure channel buried in Earth's deepest comms grid. It didn't rely on satellites or towers. It used underground fiber, ancient cabling connected only by physical links. The aliens wouldn't see it coming. The message she sent was short. Wrath Protocol is live. Begin Phase 1. Around the world, hidden bunkers received the signal. In a mountain beneath Peru, automated drones powered up. In an old oil rig in the Atlantic, torpedoes too fast for radar slid into launch tubes. In space, secret satellites, blacked out and silent for decades, suddenly turned toward the enemy. Phase 1 was not an attack. It was a test. As one of the alien ships hovered above Central Africa, a small drone, no bigger than a bird, shot up from the jungle below. It moved silently, its surface bending light, nearly invisible. The drone touched the alien ship's underbelly, dropped a seed-like device, and vanished. Seconds later, the device exploded, not with fire, but with silence. A black wave of static burst outward, swallowing the alien ship's shield for exactly 2.3 seconds. Long enough. From a hidden railgun buried in a riverbed, Earth fired its first true shot. The projectile hit the alien ship with pinpoint precision. It didn't destroy it, but it cracked it. Alien metal bent. Fire started. The ship shook. Inside, alarm screamed. The alien commander stood, fury in his eyes. "Who did that?" he roared. "Which ant just bit me?" Another explosion came, this time in Asia, then one in Europe. Earth wasn't fighting back in one place. It was fighting everywhere. But the aliens still didn't understand. They thought it was a last breath, a desperate move. They didn't know this was only the beginning. Back at Facility Zero, Layla monitored the data. "We hit their weak points," she said calmly. "Shields are thin under the central core. Their ships use pulse reactors, old design, predictable." General Hawk's voice came through the secure line. "Are you saying we can actually bring them down?" Layla nodded. "Not yet, but we've scratched the gods. Now they know we bleed them." The alien leader appeared again on Earth's screens. His face no longer smiled. There was no laughter this time. "You dare strike us," he hissed. "You miserable, dying race. We will erase your history." Layla stepped toward the camera. She spoke for all of Earth. "We're not dying," she said. "We're remembering who we are." And the transmission cut. Above the Earth, the alien fleet began to shift. Ships moved into tighter formation. Weapons armed. Defenses activated. The aliens were done playing. But on Earth, the storm had started. Soldiers of Wrath moved in silence, striking at key targets. Drones swarmed like ghosts. AI-controlled tanks rolled through broken streets. Civilians who had nothing now carried weapons built from scrap and courage. Every human heart beat with one thought: we are not weak. The aliens laughed once. They wouldn't laugh again. Because humanity had entered Wrath mode, and the real war had just begun. The skies had turned red. Alien ships loomed like giant predators over burning cities, casting long shadows that swallowed everything below. Their engines hummed with deadly power, their weapons ready to strike again. But something had changed. The fear was no longer one-sided. After Earth's first counterattack, the aliens were no longer relaxed. Their movements became sharp, their formations tighter. They realized the humans were not simply victims. They were survivors, fighters, and worse, planners. From the moment Phase 1 hit, a second layer of strategy unfolded beneath the chaos. In Tokyo, hidden inside the ruins of a fallen skyscraper, 2 Wrath operatives moved swiftly through the underground train tunnels. Their names were Cade and Mira. They were part of Team Echo, trained in infiltration and sabotage. Their mission: destroy the alien energy relay core hidden beneath the city. "This place used to be alive," Mira whispered, stepping over broken glass. Cade nodded. "It will be again. After we shut them down." The aliens had built their own structures underneath key human cities. Giant machines sunk into the ground like roots, feeding off Earth's core, pulling power, anchoring their ships. But those machines had a weakness. They used Earth's own systems as conduits. And Earth still remembered how to fight. As Cade and Mira reached the core site, they saw it, pulsing with blue light, humming with alien tech. It was surrounded by 3 tall guards. Not aliens, but war drones. Machines that moved like wolves, with eyes that glowed white. Mira held up a small device. EMP. Cade shook his head. "Won't work on these. We go in fast." They struck like lightning. Bullets danced through the air. Sparks flew. Mira ducked under a laser blast and threw a magnetic charge onto one drone's back. It exploded into pieces. Cade took out another with a high-impact round through its sensor. The third nearly sliced him in half, but Mira tackled it just in time, jamming her knife into its core. Seconds later, it was over. Cade limped to the control panel and planted a detonation device. 2 minutes, he said. "Let's move." They ran. As they reached the surface, the ground rumbled beneath them. Then a flash. Bright, blinding, and the energy core was gone. Tokyo's sky flickered. The alien ship above trembled. In orbit, the alien commander watched the data string flood with alerts. Power loss. System disruption. Core destroyed. He slammed his fist on the console. How are they doing this? His second-in-command was pale. "They've mapped our power routes, sir. They're attacking key supply points. Every city is a target." "Then we level the cities," the commander snarled. "If they use the ground, we turn it into glass." And so, the aliens began their most brutal wave. In London, plasma fire rained down like a second apocalypse. In Cairo, alien walkers stomped through the streets, destroying everything. In New York, an entire borough was reduced to dust in seconds. But even as destruction fell, humanity rose. In the ashes of London, Wrath squads emerged from tunnels. In Cairo, resistance fighters ambushed walkers using homemade explosives. In New York, a group of civilians used old construction equipment and guerrilla tactics to bring down an alien drone. Every street became a battlefield. every broken wall a shield. Earth had turned itself into a weapon. At Facility Zero, Lila watched the world's chaos on multiple screens. Her eyes were sharp, but not cold. "They're forcing us into full retreat," Darius said, breathless. "They're wiping us out." "No," Lila said calmly. "They're spreading themselves too thin." She zoomed in on the alien fleet map. Dozens of red dots showed ship locations. She pointed at the central one. "That's the command vessel, the mothership. All orders come from there." Darius looked at her. "You want to take the fight up there?" Lila nodded. "We fought them on our ground. Now we hit theirs." Project Wrath had one more hidden card. Deep in the Arctic, an ancient launch bay opened. Inside was a craft, sleek, black, silent. The Nyx, a stealth ship built from the remains of a fallen alien scout, upgraded with human technology, powered by a fusion drive unlike anything on Earth. Only a small team could go, only the best. Layla, Cade, Mira, and 3 more Wrath operatives boarded it that night. Their goal was simple: infiltrate the alien command vessel, disrupt their control systems, and if possible, end the war. As the Nyx rose into the dark sky, Earth burned beneath them. But it wasn't the end. It was the storm before the strike. The aliens had brought war to Earth. Now, humans were bringing wrath to the stars. The black sky was silent as the Nyx glided through the upper atmosphere, undetected by any alien sensors. Built from both Earth's finest engineering and stolen alien tech, the ship was a ghost, slipping between satellites, dodging patrol scans, and rising beyond the line where air becomes void. Inside, 6 warriors sat in silence, strapped into their seats. No one spoke. There was nothing more to say. They all knew what was coming. Layla sat at the front, her hands gripping the controls. Her eyes flicked between readings on the glowing screen in front of her. Cade and Mira sat just behind her, checking weapons. Beside them, 2 silent tech specialists, Reyes and Seto, ran a last-minute diagnostic on the infiltration gear. And at the back, the 6th member, Juno, a cybernetically enhanced soldier with more battles behind her than memories, tightened the seals on her armor. Ahead of them, space opened wide. And in the distance, like a metal continent hanging in the void, floated the alien mothership. It was monstrous, over 5 miles long, glowing with thousands of lights, armored in strange, shifting material that bent light itself. From its surface, hundreds of smaller vessels flew in and out, like bees from a hive. Its presence radiated power. This was the brain of the invasion, the source of every order, every strike, every destruction on Earth. And now it was the target. As the Nyx approached, Reyes activated the cloaking field. The ship vanished from every known radar, even alien thermal scans. "We're entering shadow mode," Layla whispered. "From this point, if they see us, we're dead." The ship pierced the enemy's outer perimeter, slipping just below a cargo vessel's path. The mothership loomed larger now, a wall of metal and death. Cade looked at the massive hangar doors ahead. "How do we even get inside?" Mira smirked. "The same way we got into Facility Zero, remember?" Layla grinned slightly. "We knock, and then we break everything." Reyes launched a virus packet toward the hangar's outer gate, a digital ghost that rode the mothership's own communication lines. Within seconds, the door lights flickered. A maintenance hatch opened just wide enough. The Nyx darted in. They were inside. Docked in a dark maintenance bay, the team suited up quickly. Oxygen masks, magnetic boots, light rifles enhanced with EMP tips, and neural links that sensed their vision and hearing. No mistakes, no noise, no mercy. Juno took point, leading them through narrow service tunnels that ran through the ship's guts. Pipes hissed with steam. Alien symbols flickered on the walls. The deeper they went, the stranger things became. Gravity fluctuated slightly. Walls shimmered as if alive, and strange echoes filled the air. But the team kept moving. They reached the core level, where the ship's command center pulsed like a heart. There, surrounded by force fields and guarded by towering alien sentinels, was the control node, a massive crystal-like structure covered in cables, feeding commands to the entire fleet. "This is it," Rise whispered. "If we corrupt that node, we break their command chain." Saito pulled out a small device no bigger than a fist. Codeworm, built from their own tech. It'll rewrite their command protocols for 3 minutes before the system self-heals. 3 minutes is all we need, Cade said. But just as they moved forward, the alarms exploded. Red lights, shrieking sounds. The shadows lit up with movement. "They found us," Mira shouted. Alien soldiers, tall, thin, and covered in black armor, emerged from the walls, their weapons charged with glowing energy. The humans didn't run. They fought. Blasts of light filled the room. Mira rolled behind a console, firing bursts that melted armor. Juno charged straight into the enemy, her blades slicing through 2 guards in seconds. Rise covered Sato as he reached the node, slamming the codeworm into the base of the crystal. The ship shook. A deep, distant rumble echoed through the chamber. "It's working," Sato yelled. "We're rewriting their core commands." But more enemies poured in. Cade was hit in the shoulder, spun sideways, and slammed into the wall. Layla dragged him behind cover, shouting into her comms, "We're not going to last here. Prepare for extraction." Rise fired a plasma grenade into the corridor, collapsing part of the ceiling. Sato yelled out the countdown. 30 seconds. Mira screamed in pain, hit in the leg, but still shot 2 more aliens dead. 15. Lila grabbed the control node's central spine and pulled the virus plug manually, shoving a second core override in place. 5. A massive pulse of energy burst from the crystal. The lights blinked. Every screen across the ship turned black for exactly 3 seconds. Then, the mothership stopped moving. Silence. On Earth, all across the skies, alien ships froze midair. Their cannons powered down. Their lights dimmed. Command links were lost. Chaos erupted within the enemy ranks. The human resistance saw it instantly. This was their chance. Back in the mothership, the raft team fought their way out, bloodied, limping, but alive. The Nyx detached from the side of the ship, cloaking once again as it drifted away into the dark. Inside the silent alien command vessel, their systems began to reboot, but something was now corrupted. Orders were scrambled. Navigation lost. The control center fractured. And far below, on Earth, every human knew the same thing. The aliens were no longer in control. A deep silence blanketed the world. It wasn't peace. It was confusion. Alien ships hung frozen above cities. Their engines still hummed, but their movement had stopped. Patrols drifted in the air like leaves in water, disconnected from command. The vast, terrifying swarm of invaders that once dominated Earth now seemed lost. And humanity noticed. Every survivor, every soldier, every resistance fighter watched the sky in disbelief. At first, no one moved. Then, slowly, like a spark catching wind, they began to rise from their hiding places. In bunkers, in basements, in underground shelters. The resistance was back on its feet. They didn't cheer yet. They didn't celebrate. They moved. This was their window. Inside a ruined subway station beneath Berlin, Commander Thorne of Resistance Unit 7 grabbed his radio. "Echo Base, we have confirmation. Alien crafts in our sector are immobile. Repeat, immobile. Preparing assault wave now." Across the world, similar messages crackled through radios and hacked satellite channels. Human forces mobilized with one purpose: hit the enemy before they recovered. But not everyone believed it was over. Inside the Nyx, now drifting low in Earth's orbit, the raft team was quiet. Layla stood by the main console, watching the enemy fleet's systems flicker erratically. Glitches danced across the holographic map like static on old TVs. Ships collided in space. Drones spiraled out of control. But then, patterns began to return. Systems are trying to heal, Rise muttered, tapping through diagnostic feeds. The virus held for longer than expected, but it's not permanent. Juno leaned against the wall, blood still leaking from a shoulder wound. They'll regain control. Maybe not full command, but enough. Cade, clutching his bandaged arm, spoke with grim certainty. Then they'll retaliate, harder than ever. Layla zoomed in on a new signal, a pulsing red beacon deep within the alien mothership. Her eyes narrowed. They've activated the failsafe. Mira frowned. What's that? A last command protocol, Layla answered. If their chain of control collapses, this activates. Autonomous defense mode. No leaders. Just pure destruction. Back on Earth, cities began to notice. Frozen ships suddenly roared back to life. Not in formation, not with precision, but like cornered animals. They fired without control. Lasers tore through empty streets. Drones attacked anything that moved, including their own kind. Some ships self-destructed midair. It wasn't strategy. It was rage. In Los Angeles, an alien walker crashed through a skyscraper, destroying both itself and the building. In Moscow, plasma fire incinerated a river. No target, just blind release. Civilians and soldiers alike were caught in the storm. They're lashing out, Mira said softly. Layla nodded. We didn't destroy them. We broke their mind. Now the body's thrashing. But Juno said, that means there's no one piloting the beast. Just instincts. That's a weakness. Layla tapped her fingers on the console. There's one more thing we can do. She pulled up a buried section of the mothership's schematics, something Rice had downloaded during their infiltration. A part of the ship never explored. A chamber near the center of the command crystal, labeled in alien code as Source Core. What is that? Cade asked. Layla turned to them, eyes fierce. Their AI origin. The brain of the brain. If we destroy it, they stop. Completely. Forever. Silence fell again. Then we go back, Rice said without hesitation. Mira blinked. Back. Into that thing. We barely made it out alive. We go back, Layla confirmed. Because this time, we don't break it. We erase it. An hour later, the Nix spun back toward the alien mothership. Outside, the space around it was chaos. Half the alien fleet had turned on itself. The rest moved like headless serpents, dangerous but directionless. Inside the ship, the Wrath team suited up again, wounded, exhausted, but determined. They were no longer just survivors. They were the storm. Using a secondary vent port, the Nix docked in a different section of the mothership. This area was darker, colder. The corridors were wider, carved with strange glowing veins pulsing with light. Every surface seemed alive, as if the ship itself watched them. As they moved deeper, Mira whispered, "Why does it feel like we're walking into the belly of something that's still breathing?" "It is," Juno replied. "This ship isn't just metal. It's part machine, part organic. A living command vessel. The Source Core. It's like its heart." They reached a massive chamber. At the center hovered a glowing orb, 10 feet wide, floating above a pool of silver fluid. Strange shapes swirled inside it. Not data. Memories. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Sato stepped forward. "That's it. The source. I can overload it. But once I start, the system will try to purge us. Then we hold them off," Cade said. Sato knelt by the control base and began typing. Warnings in alien script flooded the screens. Then came the Guardians. 6 towering figures, shaped like armored titans, dropped from above. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They attacked. And the battle began. It was the fiercest yet. Mira flipped over a railing, firing at a guardian's eye. Cade blocked a blow with his forearm shield, bones cracking but standing firm. Juno fought like a machine herself, blades cutting through alien armor. Rise was shot and dragged behind cover by Layla, who kept firing without pause. 3 minutes. Sato shouted. The source core grew brighter. The entire ship began to vibrate, systems going haywire. 2 guardians down. 4 left. Cade was bleeding badly. Mira had a broken leg. Juno was surrounded. 2 minutes. The last guardians pushed forward. Rise, coughing blood, pulled out a pulse bomb and ran into their path. "Tell Earth we did it," he said with a grin, and detonated it. The explosion shook the room. 2 more guardians fell. 1 minute. Juno threw her last blade. Mira, from the ground, shot the final guardian in the back of the head. Sato screamed, "Now." He slammed the override key. The source core turned white. It screamed. Not in sound, but in light, in pressure, in pain. A psychic pulse rippled through space. Every alien ship froze. Their lights went black. Then, they began to fall. All across the sky, the enemy fleet rained from the heavens like dying stars. Humanity had done it. They hadn't just survived. They had won. But it wasn't the end. Because even in silence, something stirred in the void. Watching, learning, waiting. And Earth was now on the galactic map. The dust of victory still hung in the air, thick and heavy as the remnants of the alien fleets scattered across the world. There was no grand celebration, no roaring cheers. The people of Earth, battered and bruised, stood still in stunned silence. Across the globe, the sight of fallen alien ships burning in the atmosphere was a strange mixture of triumph and disbelief. Cities lay in ruins. The world had been ravaged. But humanity stood, still alive, still fighting. Back in the heart of the alien mothership's wreckage, the Nyx floated silently. The team inside was battered. Juno had a gash across her face that would leave a scar. Cade's arm was in a makeshift sling, and Mira limped across the deck, still clutching a medpack to her bleeding leg. Rise, his body almost entirely patched with bandages, sat in the cockpit, staring at the fading light of the destroyed alien vessels. Layla walked slowly to the main console, her fingers hovering over the keys as she gazed out at the fractured remains of the mothership. The once proud ship that had threatened to tear apart humanity's existence was now a drifting wreck, a testament to the force that humanity could unleash when pushed to the edge. But it wasn't just the destruction of the alien fleet that worried her. The battle was won, but the war had just begun. She knew that the invasion was only a part of something far larger. Earth had just become a target, a prize. And somewhere, out there, the true masterminds of this invasion were watching. "Rise, what's our status?" Layla asked, her voice steady despite the exhaustion pulling at her. Rise didn't take his eyes off the main view screen, where the last of the alien ships fell to Earth, burning like dying stars. "We've stopped their command center. The fleet's falling apart. But we don't know if this is the end." "No," Layla murmured. "It's not the end. This was only a beginning." Cade, who had been listening in silence, spoke up. "Leela's right. There's something bigger at play here. The source core, the way it reacted, this was no ordinary invasion. It was organized, coordinated, and that didn't feel like a first wave." Juno's voice cut through the silence. "We didn't just fight invaders. We fought a war machine that was designed for one purpose: to take over, consume, and adapt. That's not something we've beaten with brute force. It's only a pause." Mira clenched her fists, her eyes filled with both determination and concern. "Then we need to go after the heart of it. We can't stop now. We've got a small window, and we need to use it to find out what's really behind this." Layla nodded, understanding. "Agreed. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting to end this. before it starts again. A low hum filled the room as Sato, who had been silent for most of the fight, leaned forward. He looked up at Layla. "I've been scanning the ship's databanks. There's more to this invasion than just conquest. This was a test. A testing ground." "A test?" Cade frowned. "What for?" Sato's fingers danced across the console, bringing up new information. A map of the stars. Locations. Coordinates. This wasn't just an invasion. The aliens were testing us, our ability to resist, our capacity to fight back. They've been mapping out our strengths and weaknesses. This was just one planet. Juno's eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" "It means they're preparing for something bigger," Sato continued. "And it's not just Earth they've been watching. It's everywhere." He looked up, locking eyes with Layla. "They've been targeting us, yes, but they've been targeting others too. And now, with Earth's resistance, they've seen the kind of power we can unleash." Layla stepped back, taking in the weight of his words. "So, we're not just dealing with a failed invasion. We're dealing with a galactic strategy, one that's been planned for a long time." Rice clenched his fists. "If that's true, then we need to prepare for more. Earth isn't an isolated target anymore. We've made ourselves known." The room fell silent once again. There was no denying it. The Wrath team had just won the battle, but not the war. And somewhere, out there, the true leaders of the alien forces were watching, learning. They had seen Earth fight back. They had seen the depths of humanity's will to survive. But they had also seen the cost, and that would change everything. Layla's gaze hardened. "We've proven we can fight back. But now, it's time to go on the offensive. We need to find their next target before they do to someone else what they tried to do to us." Sato nodded grimly. "I've got coordinates. A location far from here. It's an uncharted system, at least by our maps. But the aliens, they've been sending signals to it." Cade straightened, a spark of hope flickering in his eyes. "Then that's where we go. We hit them before they can strike again." Layla turned to the rest of the team. "Pack up. We don't stop. Not now. Not ever. We're not just saving Earth anymore. We're saving every planet that could fall next." They began their preparations, silently moving with purpose. The Nyx was a wreck, but it could still fly. Still fight. They could still make it to the new coordinates, whatever lay ahead. They had no choice. The future of the galaxy was at stake, and humanity had just become the most dangerous species in it. As the Nyx sailed into the void, the stars stretched out before them like an endless field of possibilities. But there was something deeper, more ominous, waiting in the cold blackness ahead. The story of the alien invasion had ended. But a new chapter, far more dangerous and uncertain, was just beginning. And the Wrath team was ready.